Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 4636 Southwest Humphrey Court here in Portland. We are located at the front of the house. I will show the clean out access when we pull the camera out at the end here. Checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Obviously you can see water is running here. I originally was doing a test run. I've been having a heck of a time figuring out what clean out here is the sewer line. So once I got far enough down line, I just kept going, and we'll just do this thing in reverse. So right now I'm in total we made it to about 117 feet. If you look just up ahead there, we've got an offset pipe joint. I've just spent about 15 minutes walking all over Kingdom Come trying to locate where I'm at, and I'm having a heck of a time figuring it out. I've walked the entire street in front as well as down the side to the neighbor's driveway, kind of downhill from this, as well as up the driveway here. A big walk around the perimeter, and I'm not having much luck picking up even a weak signal. That offset joint there, it's not the world's craziest offset, I'll be honest with you. It's, you know, we're probably only talking maybe 3/4 of an inch. But at 117 feet out, with the bends and stuff we've gone through, I have no leverage to jump over the top of it. So anyway, it's right where the line switches to 6-inch diameter pipe. We've still got a little bit of water trickling off here. I'm going to have to pull back in a little bit to see or kind of track down where that's located. It might also be at a depth that my locator just simply can't pick up on. That's a possibility too. Now we do have, you'll see as we go throughout the line here, there are about 5 different locations where we've got a belly in the sewer line. The good thing is I have essentially seen no buildup whatsoever in any of them. And again, this water's still trickling. I'll point out to you, it'll drain off eventually. There was a toilet inside that just kept running. The flapper got stuck, so I had to go and correct that so it'll drain off, and it should be just about done here in a moment. Anyway, with the way that the bellies are spread out throughout the line, it's not a scenario where I'm going to recommend corrections on them. Not unless I notice something about the pipe joints once we get to those points, back into those areas. So here's one of them right here. A little bit of particulate floating around the water. Nothing thick, nothing crazy. You can see that when you pull back out of the water, those particulate, I mean, we're talking like the size of microns. The camera makes them look kind of big, but sidewalls of the pipe and top of the pipe are spotless clean. So you start looking at how many spot repairs you'd have to do on this thing to fix those. I mean, you'd be doing the better part of a complete redo on the sewer line, which makes no sense. These are the kind of bellies here. I think most of them are hovering around the inch mark and no more than that, and most of them are about 5 feet in length. These are the kind of bellies that in general get built up and cause issues when the line's abused. If you treat the line nice like these folks have, you can keep the line clean. That's the big thing. I'm not going to map out each individual one. I'm just going to write up as you've got sporadic bellies throughout most of the sewer line. And that's a pretty common thing when you have a line that pushes over 100+ feet. Unless you're up on a really steep hillside with lots of natural slope and grade, it's a difficult thing to run a line this long and not have it settle. All right, finally got the camera head located. So right now we are sitting very close to the road. I'm going to push back out here a little ways. It looks like what we're doing right now is crossing from left to right in the driveway area, at least back there at 76 feet. We were on the street side of the gate, crossing from left to right as you face the house from the road. Like it's going to pop out the other side of the driveway. And I do see a manhole that's pretty darn close to just being out into the road there. This line just takes kind of a funky path. I figured it was dropping off the left side of the property. The road is super close. Yeah, this final turn here is what kills you. Combination of that turn right there and that offset are just enough to do you in. Alrighty, so I just got located here, and so if you're standing out in the road, facing, best way to do it is if you're standing in the street facing the gate for the driveway, to the right up the road, I don't know if that Rolls-Royce, the old Rolls-Royce up there is a mainstay fixture, but there's a manhole straight out from it in the roadway. Where we're currently sitting at is, my locate's coming in the roadway just a few feet before that, and when I shine my flashlight into the manhole, the angle that my locator is at there is the same exact angle that a white 6-inch piece of PVC is going into the manhole. So it looks like this line ties directly into that manhole here. So it takes quite a pathway to get to the main. It's, and that's part of the reason why this thing's got standing water. It's a very flat property. You have no natural slope and grade, or no natural slope of the property at all. Anyway, bellies like this, I mean, clearly whoever's been living here has managed to keep this line incredibly clean, and that is the reality with the bellies. It like any sewer line, it comes down to how you treat it. If you put wipes and paper towels and cooking oil and grease down the thing, yeah, you're probably going to get some stuff hanging up in the belly. If treated properly like these people have, your line should stay clean. It's the abusive items that go down line that end up causing the buildup in most cases. So, anyway, we'll see what the rest of this standing water looks like here. I haven't had a chance to see this thing fully drained out yet. But the most significant belly you've got thus far is a very long distance from the house, and at its worst point is holding 1 inch of standing water. Coming into another one here. That one dissipates off there at about 60 feet, approximately. Yeah, that one there at its worst is holding barely 1/4 inch of standing water. That is eons from repair worthy. And the further these bellies get from the house, like the more significant one, and even that one's not very significant, but the further they get from the house, the least likely they are to actually cause a problem. If you were to ever even develop a blockage theoretically out at 100 feet, you have to fill up an unbelievable amount of pipe just to get back to the house. There are very few blockages that can withstand the head pressure of 100 feet of 4-inch pipe building up behind it. It would require something very abusive go down line and on a consistent basis to get something that can withstand that kind of pressure. This is actually drained out even better than I thought it was going to. The standing water I'm seeing here is very sporadic. If I recall, I think we have one more spot before we get back to the clean out, but we'll see here. And I've been doing this 13 years. I've cambered almost 25,000 sewer lines. This was a well-installed sewer line. It is not an easy thing to run 120. In total, you're about 125 feet to the main and have that little standing water. Usually when you've got this configuration here, you've got 30, 40-foot stretches of pipe with inches of standing water. So that was very well installed. So the line it runs away from the house here. I don't know if it goes directly underneath the mosaic or the tile work here up front that I'm pointing the camera at, but pretty close to it. It then cuts under the driveway, again moving from left to right, pops out the other side. It runs up that dirt patch to the right of the driveway for a little ways, and near where that old Rolls-Royce or old car is at that's up the street, you'll see the manhole that's up there. That's about where the line turns and shoots off into the roadway. So the standing water, that drained out much nicer than I thought it was going to. It wasn't to an extent on the way out there where I thought repairs were even necessary, but that drained out very nicely. The standing water you've got in this thing is incredibly minor. Your two bellies that are even remotely close to the house are both at a 1/16 to 1/4 inch of standing water. Your worst one barely has 1 inch. And for reference, I don't even consider repairs on bellies and plastic pipe until you have at least a 5-foot section with at least 1 inch of standing water, and that's when the belly is right up next to the home. Bellies that far out, plain and simple, require heavy, heavy abuse to ever get even close to a point of blocking. Anyhow, the offset joint that's out there, that too, it's too minor as it sits to even affect functionality. You can forward that to the city if you want to. It's unlikely they're going to do anything about it as the joint appears closed off and the lip on it is so small. The only reason my camera's not going around it is because of how far out it is and the amount of turns we've gone through. If the offset were within 20 feet of going in, 30, 40 feet before all those turns, my camera would go over it without even a problem. So that too is not concerning, but that's in city responsibility anyway. And real quick, I'll show you where the clean out's at. It's in a very hidden spot. So to the left is the front door. To my right are these French doors here where the patio furniture is at. This clean out is half stuck underneath the staircase over here. It's a very tricky clean out to hunt down. Right there. Anyway, we have good flow all the way out to the street. All the pipe we scoped here on property, all of it is intact, in good condition, and very, very clean. There is not a speck of buildup. I mean, not that these bellies are repair worthy anyway, in my opinion, but when I can't even recommend $100 in drain cleaning on a line, tearing up the line all over the place over bellies like that just does not make sense. If you're, and I'm not going to beat anyone up, if you're a household that likes to do a lot of deep fat frying and you know grease goes down your line on a frequent basis, you could always re-scope it a year to see how the line's looking. You know, sometimes people periodically jet their sewer line, but that's also when you're dealing with bellies that are much more substantial than you've got here. These are all very minor. Anyhow, sewer line is functioning properly at this time.